The Great Train Robbery of 1963. Mr. TV on the dark night of the 8th of August, 1963. A Royal Mail train was traveling from Glasgow to London. Inside one of its carriages were heavy bags filled with cash, worth nearly £2.6 million at the time, an amount equivalent to over £67 million today, around 800 crore. The train was being driven through the darkness by 58-year-old driver Jack Mills. Everything seemed normal until the train approached Sears Crossing, where a red signal suddenly appeared. This was unusual. At that time and place, the signal was never supposed to be red. Still, following procedure, Jack Mills applied the brakes and stopped the train on the isolated track. Silence fell over the area, but hidden within that silence was a carefully crafted master plan, one that would soon become known as the Great Train Robbery, the biggest train robbery of the century. What followed felt like a movie, but it was very real. A plan months in the making. Months earlier, a group of London criminals had begun planning a daring heist. The mastermind behind it was Bruce Reynolds, who had access to secret information from a senior Royal Mail security officer whose identity remains unknown to this day. Reynolds learned about a special carriage known as the high-value package HVP coach. On specific days, this carriage transported huge amounts of cash between cities. The gang knew exactly which carriage to target. Although Reynolds and his crew were experienced criminals, they had never robbed a train before. To solve this, they teamed up with another gang known as the South Coast Raiders. Slowly, the team grew to more than 15 members, all committed to pulling off the robbery without firing a single bullet. The perfect opportunity. On the 7th of August 1963. At 6:50 p.m., the Royal Mail train departed Glasgow Central Station, scheduled to arrive at London Euston by 4 a.m. the next morning. The train had 12 carriages and 72 postal workers on board, who sorted mail during the journey. That night, fate aligned perfectly for the robbers. Normally, the HVP carriage carried around £300,000, but because the previous week had been a bank holiday weekend, the amount on board had increased to nearly £3 million. Even more importantly, the usual HVP carriages equipped with alarm systems were out of service that night. Instead, a reserve carriage, M3024M, with no security alarms, was attached to the train. This information, leaked by an insider, made the robbery possible. The train is stopped at around 3 a.m. on the 8th of August. One of the gang members tampered with the signal at Sears Crossing. He covered the green light with a glove and powered the red signal using a battery. When the train reached the crossing, Jack Mills saw the red light and stopped. The assistant driver stepped down to use the trackside telephone, only to discover the line had been cut. At that moment, the robbers emerged from the bushes, overpowered him, and climbed into the engine. When Jack Mills resisted, he was struck on the head with an iron bar and knocked unconscious, stealing the train itself. As chaos unfolded in the engine, other gang members uncoupled the first two carriages, including the HVP coach, from the rest of the train. Their plan was not just to rob the train, but to drive it away. A retired train driver had been brought along to move the engine, but he panicked when he saw the modern controls. Left with no choice, the gang revived Jack Mills and forced him to drive the train 1 kilometer to Bridego Bridge, where a truck was waiting below. The heist at Bridego Bridge. The robbers broke into the HVP carriage. Inside were 5 postal workers, who were beaten, tied up, and forced to lie face down. The carriage contained 128 bags of cash, weighing nearly 2.5 tons, made up of £1 notes, £5 notes, and 10-shilling bills. The gang had only 15 minutes. They formed a human chain and managed to load 120 bags into the truck. 8 bags were left behind, due to lack of time. Before leaving, one robber warned the staff not to move for 30 minutes, or they would be killed. Escape and celebration. The robbers escaped using an Austin Lodestar truck and 2 Land Rovers, all using the same fake license plate, BMG 757. After a 45-minute drive, they reached their hideout near Oakley Village, about 43 kilometers away. They monitored police communications using a VHF radio and believed they had succeeded. At the hideout, they celebrated, even playing Monopoly using real stolen money. But that celebration would soon cost them dearly. The fatal mistake. Police quickly realized the robbers could not have gone far. Based on the 30-minute warning given to the staff, authorities searched within a 50 kilometers radius. A neighbor reported suspicious activity near a farmhouse called Leatherslade Farm, which the gang had rented months earlier. Police raided the location and discovered empty cash bags, Royal Mail parcels, a truck hastily painted yellow, though the gang had wiped most fingerprints clean. Fingerprints were found on the Monopoly board. Those prints matched existing criminal records in Scotland Yard databases. Arrests and aftermath within days. 14 of the 16 gang members were arrested. Only 2 men were never caught. The replacement train driver, the mysterious Royal Mail security officer. Court declared this crime the robbery of the century, sentencing most gang members to 30 years in prison. Bridego Bridge later became known as Train Robbers Bridge, a name it still carries today. Jack Mills never recovered from his injuries. He was unable to work again and passed away 7 years later. Deeply traumatized by the event. Closing Mr. TV. This was not a movie. This was one of the boldest crimes in real history. You've been watching Mr. TV. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the next incredible story.